Okay, I'm ready whenever you want.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're sitting here with Oliver Reed. I was wondering how I should address you, Mr. Reed, for this interview. Should I address you during this interview?
No, undress me if you like.
No, we've only just met.
Ollie.
Ollie, it's very nice to talk to you. And as you know, this is for a lot of European viewers. And I was wondering, first of all, if you have any European languages that you speak.
Do widzenia. Siadaj means sit down in Polish. Do widzenia means see you later. And Brisha means Bruce. And crumpet is the same internationally. Had it not been so, I would have told you.
Well, they're all sitting down in Poland, which is relaxing as well, and as indeed we're doing here. You're here because Wild Thing, the single you have just re-recorded. It's curious that you are doing this. I wonder how it all came together.
Well, breathing heavily.
Which led you to record a single, of course.
Of course.
So who approached you to record Wild Thing?
I was, do you want to know?
Yeah, of course, I wouldn't ask you otherwise.
That's not necessarily so.
We're very keen to know.
I was in Daytona, and I was walking past a shop that was selling rock and roll jackets. And I said to the producer, I said, wow, look at that. And it had this on it, and Mickey Mouse laughing in the back, and Wild Wine, love you, Wild Wine, love you, shake it. And I said, wow. I was going to, a long time ago, make a rock and roll song about that. And I dare say I'm a touch old now. And the fellow that I was with said, oh, who's too old to be a rock and roller? He didn't say that. He wasn't bright enough. Sorry, am I taking your questionnaire away from you? So then I passed the shop, and so, you know, rock and roll is spontaneous. Drummers, bing, 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 bing. And I said I would have loved to have made it with the Trogs, boy. And my father would never let me, because I was at boarding school, which was a sort of quack way of being educated. But I used to break gates, which means I used to do a runner, have it on my toes, and go away from boarding school, and either meet Valerie Butlin or Carol Pengilly or Mary Smith up at the Palace, and go catch the 93 bus, which used to go via Epsom Station to Putney Bridge, where the buckos roll. And on the way through, I used to go and watch all my heroes, really, because, you know, I was 15, I suppose, 14 and a half, and I used to go and watch people kick shit out of each other. And I thought that was fairly histrionic. And I became a rock and roll fan, plus the fact that I admired the way that they were, because rock and rollers' fathers were dead or in prison, or their mothers were crying because they couldn't compromise the ration book. And so rock and rollers, real rock and rollers, grew up with a sense of dignity that is second to none.
You've got a rock and roll partner on the scene.
No, that was a posh school. I was at Ewell Castle.
I was at Cobham,
which was a school for dunces. But they were
same as mine.
But they were very, very. No, you went to the posh school, we used to box against Tiffins.
I know.
And they were a good boxing.
Red Blazers.
Today.
I know Tiffins.
I didn't know about that. But I saw the other day I think they were interviewing Tiffins Girls' School. And say no more.
Do you have a rock and roll partner? And that's snooker star Alex Higgins. Now, I thought he might be coming today. What's happened to him?
He was breathing heavy. And he jumped out of the car on the way back from Liverpool.
Do you hope to meet up with him again?
Who knows?
All right, let's talk about the input in the single.
No, let's not. Let's talk about Keith Moon.
You want to talk about Keith Moon?
Yes.
All right, what about Keith Moon?
Well, a lot of input there. And, not a bad drummer. And, the Who were amazing. And there are only two groups that I have been besotted by. The Who and the Troggs. Because both groups made me feel embattled. Not embattled, embattled. And, a lot of us now, especially with the compromise of the financials, you're very lucky to have a job. How much they pay you?
Not enough. We can cut that. No, we can keep it in. The Who is one of your favourites as well. We've had a Troggs single that you've just released, which is destined to do very well, I'm sure. What about recording a Who single? Is that going to happen next? Are you going to go off on this rock and roll path?
No, they asked me whether or not that I would go over to Canada because they were doing Tommy there. And I thought I don't think I would have, don't keep on looking at your questions, I don't think that I would have been right to go there because the Who were themselves and I was only there for theatrical enterprise.
So how far do you want to take this career? Is a single a one-off, or do you want to keep going when you actually perform it?
The next thing that I want to do is Chantilly Lace with the Big Bopper.
Could you explain that for our European viewers?
Yeah, the Big Bopper used to wear white shoes and a big hat and a very loud suit, which is something that you don't sit on. So the Big Bopper was really a rocker of the savage type. And I can't unless... is he alive still? You don't know?
No, it's not in my book of knowledge, I'm afraid.
Well, explaining it to you lot, the Big Bopper was a real rocker.
If somebody had said to you 10 years ago that you would, 10 years from then, be doing a single which they say could very well go to number one for Christmas, what would have been your reaction to that? Would you have ever believed it?
You never talk about ladies, you never talk about rock and roll. You just remember it and keep privy to that counsel.
That doesn't answer my question, though.
Well, it's a bizarre way of probably having an attitude, or does that confuse you with your hairstyle?
Actually, hair, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was curious when you arrived today that some of yours is missing. I wondered if you could tell us why.
This, you mean?
Yeah. I think in the video you've got the handlebar moustache.
For a little bit of charity. But I'm trying to grow it again. It's rather like having a lazy lob.
Thank you. Okay. Your reputation, certainly from some of the chat shows that have been going out on your promotion round in the UK, is one of a difficult guest, as a dangerous guest. Are you aware that this is happening, that you're...
No. I think, to be sexy is unconscious. I mean, have you ever been to a bird in love or in bed with a bird, and she didn't know she was sexy, and yet she was. That's what a real rock star's about.
Are you enjoying doing the round of interviews? Are any special in your mind so far?
I'm not sure that that's an honest question. I think surprise is always a great attitude.
Okay. People, let's move to acting for a moment. We'll move away from music. You are now called, cheers. I haven't got one. I will, thank you. You're now called a character actor.
Come on.
All right, I'll give it back to you.
Why? Half of it.
Okay. Very nice, thank you.
Right.
What makes a good character actor? People call you a character actor now.
Well, a character is like the four geezers that I met in the bar. They're old enough to know, and they don't have to keep on staring.
Tell our viewers about the people that we met and where we are, because I think they'd like to know.
I'm in, I don't know where the shit I am.
A traditional East End pub. You met some very traditional people.
Oh, so you're telling me where I am?
I thought we'd better fill in the gaps.
I know. I never grass. And Londoners never grass, even though